We're gonna start off. Oh. Next, we're gonna talk about the multicolor cards in Cube. I have a lot more multicolor cards than in a normal cube, probably about 30 more cards than normal cubes would have, and that lends this environment to be very tricolor heavy. I don't mind it, but I'm gonna start cutting back on it because 2 colors more streamlined than 3. But we're gonna start off with Is It, and with the little powerhouse himself, Frostburn Weird. First, I'm gonna just say this is a common. Every cube should have one. It is a powerhouse that you don't expect coming, and it is definitely, it can go the distance just by itself, especially with red blue. You can definitely protect it easy. So I'm not going to talk a lot about most of these cards, but this one definitely have to pick up for all cubes. Got Giorda of the Guitu, I think that's how you pronounce it. Galectrode, Mercurial Chemister, love him, little shotgun, and he draws you cards. I love this 5-drop. One of my favorite cards in the cube, Keranos, God of Storms. He is the best finisher for control, I think, and if he ever gets cheaper, people should try to pick him up just for a control finisher in cube. Dominus of Fealty. The Planeswalker for Is It is Ralzeric. I love his abilities. His -2 is really powerful, but sometimes I just use his +1 to give my creatures pseudo-vigilance. He's pretty much always useful. I had Dak Faden here for a second to see how he was, and just wasn't cutting it for a limited environment. Electrolyze, fantastic card. Turn and Burn, and Prophetic Bolt. Next, we got the Simic with Coiling Oracle. Love this card. Trigon Predator. Mystic Snake, new to the cube. Haven't played it a lot yet, but hoping for good results. Master Biomancer. Prophet of Krufix. Way too powerful for its own good. Still underrated, but I guess because it's 5, that's why people don't play it a lot. Prime Speaker Zagana. Progenitor Mimic. My personal favorite card of the cube, and before the cube got really powerful full of Planeswalkers, this was probably the most powerful card in cube. Take someone else's bomb and use it against them, and it actually works well with the Risu the Falling Star, the red, any of the legendary dragons from Kamigawa. Actually, this is pretty fantastic with those. Simic Sky Swallower. Okay. And then next we got Simic Sky Swallower. Best finisher for Is It, or for Simic, of course, best finisher. Kiora, the Crashing Wave. Very underwhelming Planeswalker, which is interesting because she's very good, but people aren't very... They don't go out of their way to kill her, which is hilarious because it's really easy to get her emblem, and then you'll win. And Simic Charm. Let's do... Alright. Here we have Rakdos, and my Rakdos is actually not very fast. It's very mid-range. And we're going to start off, I'm going to show you, by Hellhole Flailer instead of, like Rakdos Cackler. Probably want to pick one of those up. Murderous Redcap. Every cube should have one of these. Olivia Voldaren. Great finisher by herself. Take all the creatures. Master Cruelties. You'll be surprised how often this will kill somebody. While killing them, once they get to 1, can be kind of difficult. Just pair it with Ninjutsu and you'll win. Mogus, God of Slaughter. Sire of Insanity. Hurts early game with Sire of Insanity. This hurts early game. And then we have Sarkon the Mad. Underrated Planeswalker. Mostly just because it makes 5/5s. It can also draw you a card. A lot of times when you do the drawing a card, you draw a land. So it just stays alive for a little bit longer. Terminate. Blightning. And finally Rakdos' Return. Gonna go to the control colors with Azorius. Starting off with Azorius Guildmage, stupid powerful. Once you have plenty of mana to activate her abilities, she can just help you control the board. Miss Metal Witch, really good by herself. Not by herself. Miss Metal Witch, fantastic control card, especially with blink colors, because there's a lot of stuff that's starting to blink here. And she can also control the opponent's board when they try to attack. Just blink their stuff out of existence. Augury Adept, Daxos of Meletis, Grand Arbiter Augustine IV. Call him Grand Arbiter of Fun because he determines all the fun. Usually slam this down and your opponent just sits around on their hand because they can't play anything as efficiently as they want to. Lavinia of the 10th. Pretty awesome card, especially with all the bounce cards that help her out. Can control the board against any aggro deck, and it's fantastic. Narset Transcendent. She's actually just in here to practice with. I accidentally pulled and foil from a pack, so I was like, might as well try it. I was not going to get her when she was $50 because I knew she wasn't that good, but I would like to see how she works for Cube. And the official Planeswalker of Azorius is Vincer, the Sojourner. Fantastic. Very powerful, very good. The bouncing effect is very relevant, but people forget that creatures can be unblockable, and he can win you a game just when you need to get the last little bit of damage through. And Detention Sphere, fantastic control card. Ojutai's Command, really fun. All its modes are pretty much useful late game when you play this. And Sphinx's Rev. It's Sphinx's Revelation, there's not much to say about it. Next, we have Golgari with my favorite one drop, Deathrite Shaman. And then Lotleth Troll, the engine for a lot of reanimate strategies. Farika, God of Affliction, the God of Beatdowns. Just get her devotion really quick and just start slamming face with her. She's pretty powerful. Reaper of the Wilds. Oh, that's out of order. But Nyx Weaver, really good for reanimation strategies too. Especially if you're just trying to get more stuff in your graveyard to reanimate with children. Dredge Mangler, Spirit Monger, hiddenly powerful. Garruk Apex Predator for Golgari, Planeswalker. Used to have Vraska, but this is just way more powerful, especially for its cost. Destroying another Planeswalker for a +1 is ridiculously powerful and a good tempo swing. And then you can also destroy their creature and gain life. The beasts, of course, are good, but it's all about the +1 and the -3. Treasure Find for all the self-mill that happens. And Putrefy. Next, we have Selesnya, one of my favorite 2-color combinations. Extremely powerful and beats face pretty easily, especially when you have stuff like Fleecemane Lion, Quizali Pridemate, Exalted goes well. Voice of Resurgence, one of the more powerful cards in the cube. Kitchen Sphinx, fantastic, fun. Works really well with the new Anafinza along with Murderous Redcap because it comes back and you're probably going to bolster it, so it will probably never die. Knight of the Reliquary, with all the fetch lands and like Evolving Wilds too, this can get really strong really fast. Armada Worm, Vincer, and Armada Worm. It's just, yes sir. Or Parallel Lives, just make a bunch of tokens. And of course, a Johnny, Mentor of Heroes for the Selesnya Planeswalker. He is a lot of fun. I like his abilities. Dropping him early game is good, really good for defense. Just bolster up that one creature you have and then start looking for more creatures. Never actually gotten 100 life with him. He does become a target right away because people are afraid of that 100 life. Even though in Cube it's not really relevant because you're definitely going to run out of cards before that even happens. And then we have Selesnya Charm. Really good charm, especially for its exile. People will be pumping up their creature until it hits 5 and then you just get rid of it before they can kill you. Unflinching Courage and Advent of the Worm. Gonna go to Orzhov next, with a fantastic little 2-drop. Tidehole Sculler. Athrie's God of Passage. Was very unimpressed with his first showing in Cube, and then after a couple playthroughs, he is still as fantastic as the spoilers assumed. Especially when you have a lot of enter the battlefield effects. They kill off your creatures and they'll almost never pay the 3 life. So you always get your creature back to your hand. Blood Baron of Vizkopa. Obzedat Ghost Council. Fantastic control finisher. Especially with his bounce and his haste. Just, they can never kill it. Divinity of Pride. Ashen Rider. Great reanimate target. Unmake. And that's totally out of order, but Soren is the Orzhov Planeswalker. He is really strong because you'll usually be playing him in a token strategy. You pump out a couple tokens to protect him, and then you emblem, pump out some more tokens, emblem, and you might even kill him with your emblems, but just having a token strategy with this emblem is going to be a big tempo swing for you. Gift of Orzhova. Mortify, really fun card, especially for destroy target enchantment. Obzedat's Aid, get back any planeswalker you need. And Debtor's Kneel. Fast color. We're going to be talking about Boros clan. Starting, of course, with a powerful little 1-drop Figure of Destiny. Boros Guildmage, surprisingly very effective, especially with that haste. Boros Reckoner, he's still Rex face, even in Cube. Just don't swing at him. Ilaria, the War Leader, if you get her out, you're probably going to win, but it's so hard to play her in the first place because of that mana cost. Ajani Vengeant, also incredibly powerful, especially its +1. It's really good control card for aggro colors, and his -2 usually helps you out in a pinch. Wear and Tear, Boros Charm, my favorite charm. Lightning Helix, Assembled Legion, great finisher, and Aurelia's Fury. Really good. You're trying to get the last bit of damage through. Gruul, not Gruul, then die. And of course, we're going to start off with Burning Tree Emissary. Free card. Free card. You can't go wrong with free. Gore Clan Rampager. Bloodbraid Elf. Too powerful for its own good. Zenico's God of Revels is the most powerful god, simply because of its ability. Harbinger of the Hunt. Rubble Hulk. I really love his Blood Rush. That usually comes when people least expect it and just wins you the game. And Savage Board Hydra. Planeswalker is going to be Xenagos. I did have Sarkon in here for a minute, but Xenagos is a lot better, especially if you're behind. While Sarkon mostly requires you to have creatures out, he can make creatures himself, and if you have creatures, you can pump up and bring out some big green creature, which is usually what you want to be doing if you're playing Rule. Never actually ultimated him, just made a whole bunch of satyrs and once in a while gave some mana. Armed and Dangerous and Clan Defiance. Retardedly powerful Gruul card, underestimated, should be played in every cube. And then last but not least, Dimir. Baleful Strix, of course, powerhouse in and of itself, just for what it does. Usually is a good tinker target. Nightveil Spectre. This card goes a distance to win you a game. Bane Alley Broker. Just gotta fix your hand a bit. Dimir Doppelganger, especially with all the mill and the self-mill. This is a fantastic card. Resolve Dimir Mastermind. Ona, Queen of the Fae. Planeswalker Ashiok, one of the more powerful, probably for its mana cost, the most powerful. Milling is very strong, especially just 3 a turn, and it pumps her up really fast, sometimes out of range for like a 1-shot, and sometimes she can be pummeled enough she can't use her -X, but still the mill is very detrimental. Limb Duels Vault, powerful. Mind Funeral, my friend's favorite card, and he mixes this up with Snapcaster, so you can usually mill half your deck in 2 turns. Far and Away. And then finally, Spinal Embrace. Then we're going to finish it off with the Tricolor cards. And there's more than I want there to be, but I'm going to start looking back at them and determining what's not useful. But starting off, we're going to do Bant with Rune of the Hidden Realm. He's fantastic. Then to Nicol Bolas, Planeswalker. Fantastic little finisher himself. Savage Knuckleblade. He is powerful. You can just see the abilities once you have the mana to... You really want to drop him turn 6, and then he will do all the work for you. But turn 3 or 4, he's still really strong. Sirach Dragonclaw. Temur Charm. Sidisi Brood Tyrant. Sultai Charm. Sultai Ascendancy, actually a really good card to be playing. Villainous Wealth, pretty powerful too, especially with all the ramp you can get in green. You can Villainous Wealth for like 8 and then pretty much destroy them with their own deck. Butcher of the Horde, Mardu Ascendancy, Mardu Charm, Offensive the Foremost, really powerful, especially for 3-drop. Abzan Charm, Dune Blast, Mantis Rider, really fun card to play. Narset, OP in the right deck. I've made the mistake of playing almost all creatures in a Narset deck, and if you don't have a lot of non-creature permanents, she will kill you. You will be looking for things, and she will mill your deck before you can win. So very, very careful with this card, but she's also really powerful. Jeskai Charm, Thopter Foundry, Sphinx of the Steel Wind, Sliver Hive Lord for my 5 color. I do have slivers as tribe, and if you can get an abundance of slivers, they are really powerful, and then this is just I win you the game. Chromaticor for the funsies. If you bestow it, you're probably going to win with that creature. And Progenitus, the card that the cube is based around. He's really easy to get out with See the Unwritten or Fist of the Suns, and once he's out, you win the game. He's never hit the board and they've lost the game. He's been countered, but actually that person lost the game once. Only once. But he is the ultimate legendary creature, and I love him so much that I based the cube around him. And that is the Multicolor for Cube.